Okay, so the last step in the process now is to actually use the direct debit registrations to bill the parents. So that's done by going into the direct debit option under extracts. We're going to create a batch. It will automatically set itself up to bill attendances up to the prior Sunday and payments up to the current date. And for most situations, that's how you want to leave it. There might be some specific circumstances where you want to exclude some government payments that have just come in, or parent payments that have just come in, or perhaps 1 week's of attendances. But for the most part, you'll just leave the default settings alone. So it'll find all the parents with money to pay based on those rules. You can also filter that list. So if you have tagged your parents, I'll go into tagging in a moment. If you've tagged your parents, you can then use those tags to restrict which parents you want to bill at the moment. And put the parents in a group, then use the group for billing. If you need to bill in advance, 1 or 2 weeks in, or as many weeks as you need in advance, then just click on weeks to project, and it will estimate the fee for that period using the CCS calculations, predicted calculations, and add that to the bill. Now you'll notice here that Christian owes $1,200. There's a $500 projection, but the amount we're going to bill is still only $750. That's because Christian has been capped to a maximum of $750 payment. And normally you'd only do those in rare circumstances if the parent has fallen behind and you've agreed to a payment plan that says, well, the normal bill each week is $500, but to catch up, we're going to agree to cap your payments to $750 because we know you can't pay it all in one go. And we'll keep taking that $750 until the balance gets below the $750, then we'll just be taking the balance owing. That's why it's called capped. So it won't take more than the parent owes, but it also won't take more than the cap. So we have a question here from Nick. If we're running a kindy and we bill by the term, if we want to bill the full term in advance, how would we do that? You use the weeks to project. So if you're billing at the start of the term for a 12-week term, then just set your billing to 12 weeks. The system will recalculate the estimate for that period, and then that's included in the bill with the balance owing. So whichever calculation you use, how many weeks project, the system will add up the total that it's billing. So you can see that I'm about to bill 4 parents for a total of $25,520. And it's going to my payment gateway. I just click confirm, and that will send it off. Now it takes up to 90 minutes for Childcare EasyPay to do the initial processing of that batch. And until it does, you'll see this message waiting for information. So it hasn't been processed yet. Once it has been processed, then the information will come back on how many succeeded and how many failed. So here in my test I did earlier, I sent off 4 payments. 3 of those have failed. 1 is obviously waiting to hear back. It's probably a bank account. And then I can dive in and find the details by clicking on the ID and getting the detailed batch report. So any warnings you see in here, so customer not found, for example, they will give you clues if you need to go and fix the registration. Customer not found essentially means that the ID in Smart Central is not the same as the ID in Childcare EasyPay. So if you do see a customer not found and the parent has completed the registration correctly, then contact support for assistance. So that's how you process an individual direct debit batch. After that 90 minutes has passed and that initial processing has completed, credit cards payments will have succeeded or failed, and they will be applied to the parent balance. With bank accounts, it's slightly different because bank accounts may appear to succeed at the initial stage, but they might actually fail on settlement. So when the funds are transferred 3 days later, typically 3 days, depending on your bank, then it's possible that there's insufficient funds at that time, and so the payment may fail. If that happens, what you'll see on that parent's account is the initial payment and then a reversal of that payment. So you'll see the money goes on, credited the account, and then it comes back off in the form of a reversal. And there's a message there to say why it was reversed. So funds not found, or account closed, whatever those reasons are. So there's also an option to bill an individual parent. So if you go back onto the parent screen, we'll pick on Christian again, and we can go to the transaction tab for Christian and see not only what Christian is owing, but what the bills and charges were. We can, in addition to recording a manual payment, we can actually do a direct debit directly from here. So I just click Add Direct Debit. It will pull up the amount owing on the account as at that point, but you can change this. So if you just need to take separate payment, the sort of situation where it'll create the batch with that one parent in it and send it off to Chalk EasyPay, and it will appear on the batch list like any other batch, but with only one parent in the batch. The type of situation you're probably most likely to use that is where you've done a billing run, it's failed for a parent, you contact the parent and they said, yeah, sorry, there wasn't sufficient funds in the account, but there's money there now, can you take the money right now? You can go to the parent's account and take the amount. So even if it's not the full amount owing, take what you can get, you can take it on the spot.